Good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to this thing that I do called Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, and this is going to be part 3 of my playthrough of the story mode for Mortal Kombat 10. I am continuing Mortal Kombat 10 after completing Chapter 3 for Sub-Zero, Chapter 4 for Kung Jin, and Chapter 5 for Sonya Blade in the very last episode. If you are curious about the full details of what happened in that part of story mode, I'll go ahead and add the playlist in the corner of the screen now. If you do not want to necessarily see the entire videos and just need a quick refresher, here it is, and here is what has happened so far. The game started off with the evil elder god Shinnok, sorcerer Quan Chi, and the undead revenant versions of old allies invading Earth. They were trying to wipe out all the life on Earth by literally stealing or corrupting the life energy of the world. And fortunately, it turned out that Johnny Cage's green glowing energy was super effective on gods, and he was able to defeat Shinnok. Shinnok was then imprisoned inside of his own amulets. After that win, we time jump about 20 years into the future and find out that there is a new ruler of Outworld. That ruler is Kotal Khan. He is fighting off a civil war being conducted by the former ruler Shao Kahn's illegitimate clone daughter, Mileena. Kotal Khan survives an assassination attempt and nearly captures Mileena for execution. But it turns out that somehow she is now in possession of Shinnok's amulet. She wielded it as a weapon and she managed to escape. That presents a pretty big problem because if the Earth does not have the amulet, the Earth also does not have Shinnok anymore. Besides all the Outworld stuff, Johnny Cage is also training a new team of Earth Realm defenders. That new team went to Outworld and managed to make an uneasy alliance with Kotal Khan to find and defeat Mileena. The intent of this team up is to recover the amulet and end the civil war at the same time. Finding Mileena was made easier after Sonya Blade was able to track down Kano. Kano was using his advanced catfishing technology to disguise himself as a little lady and tried to sneak back into Earthrealm after he failed to assassinate Kotal Khan. Sonya beats Kano, and the defeated Kano then offers up the intel on where Mileena's insurgents are hiding out. We start this episode with the new chapter character Dvorah. And Dvorah is going to be teaming up with the new Earthrealm team to infiltrate Mileena's base of operations.
Veritor wins. Fatality.
Quatan jungle.
With at least 2 divisions of Tarkatans. They're on the move constantly to avoid detection.
That's not far. Maybe 200 kilometers.
You know what to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck. Blade out.
You have new information from Earthrealm?
Kano talked. Gave us the details on Mileena's location. She has the amulet, but she's got a lot of protection.
We will strike immediately.
Perhaps a two-pronged approach. The army will engage Mileena, distract her, while this one retrieves the amulet.
Not alone. This one's coming with.
Stealth is of the essence.
Did you not hear me?
You may assist in the main strike.
Dvorah, we will grant their request, and I will finally be rid of Mileena.
This one understands your logic, but does not reach the same conclusion. Like others, this one is not pleased with Mileena as Khan, but it is not clear your crew will succeed.
That is why I invited our Zaterran friend.
Listen and join us. I know things about Mileena. Her troubled rule will fall in the telling and pave the way for Quatal.
What would you know that...
There they are. 3 of your fellow counselors, whispering like handmaidens. About what, I wonder?
If only you would hear our counsel. As war with Netherrealm looms, I have urged détente with Earthrealm.
And I've told you I would sooner die than treat with my father's murderers!
You refuse practical solutions to credible threats. You endanger the realm.
And sedition does not? Speak your last, before I have your tongue.
You are not Shao Kahn's true heir. She is a construct, formed in Shang Tsung's flesh pits. I saw this. Your best claim to the throne is moot.
How dare you! I succeed Shao Kahn by his decree!
Succeed him you have, but Outworld demands new leadership.
From you, Aztec fool. Kill him!
This one serves Melina no longer.
You will defend your empress!
Our creator Shao Kahn is dead. We will serve whom we choose.
I see the time jump to the future did not change much for Baraka since he is still getting his ass kicked.
Still, you follow Melina.
Shao Kahn conquered my realm. I owe him my loyalty. I honor his will.
Alright, there is a lot to unpack in this flashback. The most shocking reveal by far is that the creators actually decided to let Reptile finally have some speaking lines. Like the entire previous game, Reptile just growled every single time that he was on screen. I mean, at one point it is implied that he whispered something to Shang Tsung, but you don't hear it. So I'm just going to say this guy does not talk the entire time. Now, one game later, the creators finally decided, you know what? We should probably let this guy talk in the new game. I mean, we killed off most of the cast in the previous game, so someone has to do some talking. Plus, this guy can go invisible and sneak around the biggest schemers in the entire Outworld Empire. I'm sure he has overheard a lot of amazing crap that is worth talking about. And by that same logic, Reptile drops the bombshell that Melina was just a cloning science experiment mixed in with some magic rather than some actual child of Shao Kahn. She was like only days old whenever Shao Kahn died too, so it's not like she was mentored by him for a long time, held a position in government within the Empire, or was some sort of a diplomat. Like at best she was involved in the invasion of Earthrealm, but if you're looking at military experience, she would have been beat by a lot of other people who had been more worthy for the role of a Khan, or Emperor, whatever you want to call it. Like, she literally had no real claim to the throne. So I am really surprised that this weightless dispute caused a civil war. But it did, and here we are, killing Baraka. And after he was also tied for the second most losses in the previous game, this kind of feels like a mercy killing. Which, that is kind of a bummer for me. Like, I do enjoy getting to see Baraka in these games, but at the same time, I really don't like when a character literally only exists just to lose and make other characters look good. In the previous game, Baraka had no story relevance other than to exist long enough for the heroes to beat the shit out of him. In this game, it's not much better. He's basically in it for 5 minutes, just long enough to let you know why the Tarkatans are teaming up with Melina, and then he's done. He's disposable. So killing off a character that you weren't actually using for anything, I mean, that's fine. I wish they had done something with him to begin with, but there's no reason to drag it out and keep him around when you have no intention of doing anything with him. Especially when you could use that opportunity to build up new characters, which they did.
Baraka is dead. Your last ally has left you.
Take her away.
could serve the new ruler of Outworld.
Then you serve Kotal Khan.
And that's how the new Outworld team was formed, and eventually Mileena was broken out because no one stays captured by Outworld in any Mortal Kombat game. Just look at Mortal Kombat 9 and count how many prisoners were broken out in that last game. Just a terrible Outworld prison system.
There.
Here to surrender, traitor?
You speak of treason. This one knows you desire the throne. Why serve Mileena?
I advise her. Stealing the amulet was my genius. It kills her a bit each time she uses it.
As both sides diminish, you fill the void.
Exactly my plan. A shame you will not see its fruition.
And now we are fighting Rain again in the present. I have to ask, how are we liking these frequent flashbacks? After Kung Jin, Sonya Blade, and now Dvorah, we are not getting more than about 3 fights in at a time without having to deal with some sort of a flashback. And just a bit of foreshadowing, that is not going to be slowing down at all. In fact, at least one more chapter in this episode is going to do the exact same thing, so there is no escaping the flashbacks. In fact, you might be in a flashback right now. Maybe we are inside of a flashback that's inside of a flashback. You don't know. In fact, let's go ahead and stack up the Inception level of flashbacks with a flash forward. That's right, I think we should start skipping ahead to the future from now on. With all the time jumps and perspective changes, we're about to make this like Cloud Atlas. Just several hours long, all over the place, and you have to go through it about 7 times before you fully know exactly what the hell is going on.
Your schemes end here.
Leaving without your friend, Dvorah? Your people believe we avoided your island out of respect for your solitary nature. We just didn't like you.
The Kaitin do prefer solitude, which I will achieve momentarily.
Each episode so far has featured a new character. I think every episode of my playthrough does this, but I am not 100% sure. In this episode, though, the very first new character that we get to pilot is Dvorah. And this creature is probably the worst nightmare of anyone with a bee allergy or perhaps arachnophobia. Creepy crawly fears aside, Dvorah probably arguably got the biggest push by the creators out of all of the new Outworld team. Her only real competition for story relevance is Kotal Khan. The rest of the gang, like Reptile, Ermac, Aaron Black, and Farah and Tur, well, they don't do anything as important in comparison. Like at best, Reptile confirms that Mileena is not a true successor to Shao Kahn, but besides that, I don't think they do anything other than make the chapter characters look good by losing to them. Although mostly insignificant, at least the new Outworld team is still faring better than the faction that represents Mileena's civil war. Somehow these guys are even more incompetent in comparison. Just look at Mileena, Rain, and Tanya. No victories to their names, and the most exciting moments for them are failed assassination attempts and then just getting their asses kicked. And then running away.
Now 2 Edenians will die.
I know you said you weren't friends, but you're not killing them. Head's fine, by the way.
Very well. Let us go. Step aside.
That is really disturbing.
Dvorah!
This one knew you would not stray far from the amulet.
You took my throne. Now you wish to steal my means of reclaiming it?
Neither was meant for you.
Who are you to say? I will take something of yours. Your life!
After beating up all of her lackeys, now we get to fight against Mileena herself. I'm not going to get too distracted by that though. Mileena has had plenty of time to shine, and we have talked about her enough up to this point. Who is our new chapter character, Dvorah? Well, Dvorah is a member of the Kaiten species, which I think was introduced for the very first time in this game. The Kaiten are a bug-like species. I want to say insect, but that might not be right. Like, I don't actually know if they're limited to only insects, or if like arthropods are in the mix in there too, or if there's others I just don't know about. I don't know. If you could find it crawling around on the ground underneath a big rock, assume it could probably be part of a Kaiten hive. Anyway, Dvorah seems to wear a human-like shell, but like Ermac, is kind of just a hive mind or a committee making decisions based on what everyone beneath the skin wants. In this case, a lot of bugs beneath the skin. And whatever they think is best is what they're going to go with. There's not really a leader, at least not to my knowledge. It's definitely more of a committee. And I suppose the Dvorah host is kind of an ambassador for the Kaiten species, since we don't really ever see any more of them besides Dvorah, and she's the only one that seems to be in a high position of power representing her species. I'm not really sure why that is, but she must be kind of special if she's the only one. And then on top of that, she speaks directly to the Emperor himself, Mr. Kotal Khan.
This one will enjoy your death.
Enough of your prattle. Finish me, that I may join my father.
You do not deserve death by an emperor's hand. Instead, I give the honor to my worthy first minister. The rebellion is over.
Well, thanks for that. I know I'll never eat again. With your leave, we're gonna head back to Earthrealm. Put the amulet back where it belongs. The hell are you doing?
Earthrealm cannot be trusted to protect the amulet. It will remain with me.
The Reiko Accords require
The
that you...
Accords no longer concern me, but you may prove useful when Raiden comes for this.
This one deceived them. The amulet is in Kotal Khan's possession.
You can retrieve it.
He trusts no one else to transport it.
Keeping you close to the Outworld throne these many years has proven most fortuitous, Dvorah. They never suspected one of their own to be a disciple of our Lord.
This one lives to serve Shinnok.
You have done well. Now bring it to me.
Without delay, Quan Chi.
So this is Thor from the future, and this cutscene is excessively long. I'm going to try and break it up with a little bit of dialogue here and there, but yeah, just get ready. There's not going to be a lot of fighting, just a lot of dialogue and cutscenes.
Master.
What news from Outworld? Shinnok will soon be freed. We make for my fortress.
Is there a problem?
Two problems.
So yeah, it does not surprise me all that much that Dvorah would betray everybody. However, it does not do anything to explain what exactly her motivation is for teaming up with Quan Chi. So if you are waiting for that, well, keep waiting. It never ever explains it. Like, we don't learn about any sort of a bargain, how this would benefit the Kai-10, just nothing. Just suddenly, hey, I'm the bad guy now.
Your wife told me I'd find you in here.
You and Vera have a nice chat?
Always. Is that a national? I haven't seen one
You
this...
didn't come here to discuss farm implements.
All right. I'll cut to the chase. I need your help.
My help?
I know. I don't have any right to...
You knew what I wanted.
Jackie volunteered. She came to me.
I know.
Listen. I get why you didn't want Jackie joining SF. Why you retired. I mean, if I had to live with memories of being one of Quan Chi's thugs, I would have eaten a gun a long time ago.
Well, you know Vera. She never would have allowed that. So what is it you need help with? The Outworld refugees?
Worse. Shinnok's amulet. Melina has it.
Damn.
And we've gotten word from Serena that Quan Chi has resurfaced in the Nether Realm.
He shows his face after 25 years, just as Shinnok's amulet is in play. That's not a coincidence.
That's why I need you. Your Quan Chi expertise. We wouldn't reactivate your commission. You'd be an observer.
Cage.
Jax,
What is it?
just wanted to see if
You
maybe...
could help close the cell? Yeah, because that worked out so well last time.
Can't blame a guy for trying.
We need you, Jax. Help me capture Quan Chi. None of us is safe if he gets near that amulet.
So where's Jackie in all this?
Outworld. With Cassie's team recovering the amulet.
She'll be fine. We expect to hear mission accomplished from him soon.
Alright, enough of the B-plot. It's time to see what is going on in the Outworld version of Shawshank.
So what you guys think? Are they gonna kill us?
They would have done it by now.
Unless Kotal Khan's planning on having us as guests at the Coliseum.
Well, if they don't kill us, my mother will. Me, at least.
Tough being the general's daughter?
You have no idea.
I do. My great whatever grandfather took down Shang Tsung. Saved Earthrealm. How often do you think that comes up at family gatherings?
That was 600 years ago.
And yet, you'd think it happened yesterday.
No pressure there. I've trained all my life. Can fight my way out of nearly anything. But I still feel like a second-rate cage.
At least you grew up with people expecting things from you.
I thought you and your dad were best friends.
Now, he was a no-show for a long time.
I can relate.
What was that like growing up? Having an ex-revenant father?
Jen.
No, I'm asking. Couldn't have been easy.
He was just a bit overprotective. When I joined SF, Mr. Cage insisted on being the one to tell my dad. He thought it'd go smoother.
I'll never forget that day. My dad came home with a broken jaw.
All right, I got this.
You've got what exactly?
Trust me.
Away from the bars.
And here we see Takeda thinking to himself, this would be so much easier if I were hooked up to Cerebro, then I could find all of the mutants.
How'd you do that?
I overloaded his senses. It only works at short range.
Being the son of a telepath has its perks.
I didn't used to think so.
Oh, Outworld prisons, 20 years later and they still can't hold a single prisoner.
Yield.
Well done. You are now Chujin.
You honor me, Master Hisashi. Now that I'm Chujin, how will I serve the clan?
Your future does not lie with the Shirai Ryu.
But the clan's my family.
When I took you in, I promised your father...
I don't have a father.
Yes, you do. One who's proud of you. A Chujin in record time.
You knew he was coming? You said nothing?
Knowing this would be your reaction, yes. Takeda, your father is not your enemy.
10 years. No visits. Nothing. You abandoned me.
I did not abandon you.
I was 8. My mother had just died. Now you come back? Think you can jump right in as a proud dad?
Son,
To hell with you. I am not your son.
We have more flashback storytelling taking place for Takeda. In the background, I'm just going to let Takeda work out his feelings about his dad basically just leaving for a pack of cigarettes and never coming back. But the Mortal Kombat version of that. So it turned out Scorpion immediately started working to rebuild the Shirai Ryu after he was freed from Quan Chi's servitude. Then he had Kenshi drop by and he just left his kid and said, hey, take care of this for me, will you? And then Kenshi bailed for like a decade. And yeah, Scorpion just had to kind of become his replacement dad. Which I actually kind of love that scenario for Scorpion. Now the creators of this game finally changed Scorpion just a bit. And instead of just being an angry, fiery revenge man, they gave his life a little bit of renewed purpose. Like, he's never going to get his wife and kid back, his old clan is still dead, but they gave him the opportunity to rebuild the clan, rebuild the Shirai Ryu, and he still got to be a father figure and a mentor to Takeda, who with his teachings rose to be the next most talented member of the Shirai Ryu, and actually makes the future of that assassin clan very bright. So I think that it is just kind of cool that in a way, he got to kind of live out the life that was taken from him before whenever his family was killed.
Now get up. I want to knock you down again.
Takeda, cease! Kenshi did not abandon you. He brought you here for your protection.
Protection from what?
From those who murdered your mother.
She died in an accident.
That is the story I asked Master Hisashi to tell you. But in truth, your mother was killed by Red Dragon assassins. I was the target. Suchin was the victim.
Son of a bitch! It was your fault!
Your father has devoted his life to fighting animals like the Red Dragon. It is they who are without honor.
You shouldn't have hidden the truth.
You would have gone after your mother's killers unprepared. I could not risk that. Master Hasashi has perfected your fighting skills. Now it is time to complete your training.
How did you do that?
We are telepaths, a family gift.
I can read minds?
Through training, we will determine your full abilities. And then we will hunt down the Red Dragon. Together.
Like I said, it's not the same, but Scorpion never got this treatment in the old timeline, and I think this is going to be the closest he ever has to a happy ending.
This is Dvorah's work.
No argument there. Only she could create wounds like these.
That dvorah is full of surprises.
Question is she working with anyone else? What is it?
Damn, he's made us.
Okay, guys, standard diamond formation. Takeda, you're on point. Jackie, bring up the rear. Kung Jin, air cover.
You got it.
The Earthrealmers. Dvorah freed them.
Alright, now that we have cleared up about 10 years worth of daddy issues with one fight and a flashback from 5 years ago, Takeda is ready to channel his inner Charles Xavier, and he is going to mind control or mind read his way into countering all of Reptile's invisible attacks. Wait, is this the first encounter that we have had against Reptile in this game? I think it is. Well, good for you, Reptile. It looks like our reptilian friend should have a way better win-to-loss ratio than he did in the previous game. Granted, that's not saying a whole lot, but still, I'm happy for the guy. Alright, now that the minigame is over and Reptile got decked for trying to lick Takeda, the real fight begins. It is strange. I felt like Reptile took way more losses in this game than he actually does. And it was not until this point that I realized that. So this will be his first loss, and we are just now entering Chapter 7. That is major improvement for this guy. I mean, back in Mortal Kombat 9, Reptile was part of a 7-way tie for the second most losses in the game. To my surprise, the character who lost the most in Mortal Kombat 9 was actually Sector, and he had 5 losses. Reptile previously had 4 losses, along with other characters like Kano, Baraka, Shiva, Ermac, and Melina. I will have to do a count for this playthrough to see how much better Reptile does. Don't mind the hesitation there. I was just kind of thinking to myself that it's kind of weird describing someone as getting better when they still don't win a single fight in an entire game. So I guess spoiler alert on that, which it probably should not be a spoiler. Should definitely be 100% predicted that Reptile does not win at all in this game either. But I mean, having less losses is kind of still an improvement, so good for you. But yeah, I think keeping count of who actually loses the most in this game should be interesting, if for no other reason than to see if anyone else can beat Sector. Because right now, in regards to Mortal Kombat story modes, Sector has definitely lost the most, and it'll be interesting to see if he retains the crown or if someone dethrones him. So stay tuned for that, I suppose.
1 down, 2 to go.
When we get back, you're teaching me that.
Deal. Go help with Ermac. I got this.
Think you can handle me alone? You're either brave or foolish.
Facing Aaron Black, it feels like a very good time to talk about how this game has an awesome list of voice actors in it. One of the low-key reasons why I like Aaron Black is because of his voice actor. Now, the voice acting, it is a good performance, but this voice actor is a very familiar one for me because of my very time-consuming playthrough of Batman Arkham Knight. as well as just being a fan of the Batman Arkham series as a whole. Troy Baker voices Aaron Black in this game, but in Batman Arkham Knight, he voices Jason Todd and Two-Face. So I got very used to hearing his voice whenever I was playing through that game from my other recordings. On top of that, he also voiced the Joker in the Batman Arkham Origins game, and he has also been the voice of the Joker quite a few times in a bunch of DC animated movies, and I think I'm seeing that become a more common thing as Mark Hamill has kind of begun to step away from the Joker role. There's way more stuff that Troy Baker has done, like bigger stuff. Like, for example, he has been Joel from The Last of Us, but it is the DC and the Mortal Kombat roles that I happen to know him for, and I really like his work. Oh, and he also voices Shinnok in this game too, so he is pulling double duty for Mortal Kombat X. And while I am on the topic of voice actors, I decided to look up the other voice actors for this game, and I have majorly underappreciated the talent in this game. Like, I did not know that Sub-Zero and Reptile share a voice actor. Oh, and that voice actor is Steve Blum, the guy who voiced Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop, my favorite anime of all time.
Brave or foolish, I'm alive. Let's see what's worth learning in there. So many minds trapped inside.
We exist to serve, bound by Shao Kahn's magic.
Chaos. The voices.
We are many. You are one. Your abilities pale before us.
He did it. Ermac said the thing. We are many. You are one. Yeah, that totally does not get old no matter how many times that line gets used in a Mortal Kombat game. It is just like that Simpsons meme, fully applied. Say the thing, Bart. I don't feel like Ermac ever gets any new dialogue, but that's okay. Anyway, I was talking about voice acting. And Cassie Cage is voiced by Ashley Birch, who is the voice of Tiny Tina from the Borderlands series. Also, Gray Griffin is the voice of both Katana and Melina in this game, and she also happens to be a regular voice for Catwoman in the Batman Arkham games and the Injustice games. There are just so many good voice actors in this. But, by far, the most random and surprising one is the voice of Farah, and that voice actress is Tara Strong. Her other noteworthy voice acting roles include Raven from the Teen Titans show, Harley Quinn, and just a variety of things, and just some other character named Timmy fucking Turner from the Fairly Odd Parents. Just, what? Oh man, I love finding that one out too.
Wow, that hurt to watch. I think I've had enough of Outworld.
I'm starting to get why my dad retired. We have to find Dvorah. Get the amulet.
Let's go. It won't be out long.
Dvorah. And the Earthrealmers?
She stole the amulet, then helped them escape.
She betrayed us to the Thunder God.
You wound me, Dvorah. Prepare the legions. We go to Earthrealm. We will wrest back the amulet from that devil Raiden.
We're all in one piece. No one seems to be tailing us.
Have you been able to determine where Dvorah was headed?
We think she's headed for the Sea of Blood.
Damn.
Dad?
She's coming here, to Quan Chi. There's a secret portal near the Sea of Blood. Quan Chi had it built when we were getting ready to invade Outworld.
Great.
Dad, what are you doing? Why are you in the Netherrealm?
Well, now who's being overprotective?
I know you think you have things to make up for, but
I'm doing this for Sonya. She's family.
that's why I'm worried.
I'll be fine. You stay safe, you hear?
You stay safe too. I love you. Briggs out.
Briggs out.
Feeling better or worse?
Not sure. Maybe both.
They'll be fine.
Question is, will I be?
We have good crossfire position. But why is it Quan Chi travels by conventional means?
He seems unable to fully use his magic. He's weaker than when I was in his service.
Serena's dead on. He doesn't have Shinnok as a power source. He's still Quan Chi, though.
I realize you agreed to guide and observe, but you are welcome to assume any role you wish.
I'm too rusty. Don't want to jeopardize the mission.
He approaches.
Do not interfere, Jackson Briggs. Go back into hiding.
Hiding? Guess I have been.
Well, we now exit that cutscene with plenty of people shooting with stormtrooper accuracy. And since that terrible aim took place and very few people were actually hit by the military forces, we get this fight with Jax, our new chapter character. And for the first time in this episode, we get to play a legacy character. Since being turned back into a living human being, Jax has hung up being part of any kind of military operation and has been struggling with what must be some very intense PTSD. I mean, I can't imagine many people have to recover from being undead and killing a bunch of people against your will, while you were basically brainwashed. And that brainwashing courtesy of an evil necromancer sorcerer from Mortal Kombat Hell. Yeah, I don't think any amount of therapy is going to make those nightmares go away. But even if the memories remain, at least we get to pilot Jax through some redemption back in the Netherrealm. And that will be courtesy of going against the revenants that he previously was cursed alongside. While it still may not be very fun beating up your old friends, at least you get to fight against the force that forced you to, invade your home realm and kill a bunch of people. So in some way I have to imagine this is kind of cathartic. And the very first of the revenants that we have to take down is Kung Lao, who, out of all of the playable revenants in this game, may actually be the least relevant out of all of them. It'll make more sense why I believe that towards the end of the game, but for right now, just know that he's kind of the most pointless one. And that is specifically when compared to other playable revenants. That's definitely not counting the ones that are non-playable, because he definitely has a leg up on all of them, like Nightwolf, Sindel, Smoke, Striker, the Ball, all of them. They don't really do anything either, and at least Kung Lao is playable.
That knocked some of my rust off.
Welcome home, Jackson Briggs.
This hell is not my home.
Then why be fool enough to return?
I got a family to protect.
Quan Chi reunited me with my family. He will do the same for you.
Is anyone else somewhat confused by the fact that Sindel standing on Jax's robotic hand somehow was hurting Jax? Like, did someone actually put pain receptors in a robotic hand? Like, don't get me wrong, I can understand the advantage of having the arms be able to detect some level of pressure so you're not just crushing every single thing that you grab, but it seems like it would be a massive disadvantage to keep robotic arms with the ability to feel pain, especially when you were knowingly going into a combat situation. Just feels like you're giving yourself unnecessary disadvantages, but you know what? Do you, Jax? It all worked out in the end. He managed to pull Sindel over the cliff. She uses her hair to grab some rock, and then they both just Rapunzel their asses back to safety. And now here we are, beating the crap out of each other again. And I briefly spoke on the concept of catharsis in reference to Jax being able to beat up on some of the people that forced him to do some pretty despicable things back in the day. To add on to that level of catharsis, now Jax has a very unique situation on his hands fighting Sindel, because not only was he cursed alongside Sindel, it was Sindel that actually killed Jax in the first place, putting him in position to be turned into a revenant. Back in Mortal Kombat 9, it was Sindel that wiped out like almost the entire damn cast of characters and killed them all in one cutscene, all of which ended up being turned into revenants after that point. So yeah, Sindel is responsible for the deaths of Nightwolf, Smoke, Jax, Jade, Katana, Striker, Cabal. I'm sure there are more, but yeah, you get the idea. She killed a lot of people, and pretty much all of them are undead now and fighting on the side of Quan Chi. So Jax getting the opportunity to get a victory, beating the person that killed him, well, that's got to be at least some kind of, we'll call it redemption? Now, granted, Sindel was brainwashed whenever she killed everybody, but considering she did actually kill just about everybody, and now she's trying to kill him again, I'm going to go ahead and recommend you just go ahead and kill Sindel. Again, not entirely her fault, but man, she is way too big of a threat to you guys. Seems like every single time she's around, people are dying or very close to dying. It is probably better not to fuck around with that anymore and just remove her from the equation entirely. I know that's probably not the protagonist-like answer to that situation since she is being forced to do these things against her will, but man, does it seem like screwing around is just going to get more people killed.
Quan Chi's not helping you.
It is possible to escape Quan Chi, Katana. I can aid you, as Bihan aided me.
You became too familiar with Bihan, allowed emotion to corrupt you.
Emotion freed me.
I don't understand, Katana. I mean, I hate the things I did here, but you enjoy being a revenant.
It suits me. I am a victim no longer.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but this ain't the way to assert yourself.
One of the things this game does really well is allowing new characters to take or share the spotlight as being crucial to the plot. Like, it's something I really complimented on whenever it came to introducing new characters like Takeda and Cassie Cage, and then like Dvorah and Kotal Khan. But the side effect of that is that some characters who were important in the last game now have to take smaller roles in this game, or almost non-existent roles. For example, we fought against Kung Lao before, and now we are fighting Katana. Both of those characters were important to the story of Mortal Kombat 9 having their own chapters. Now they are getting the Baraka and Kano treatments, and they are just getting called up if the hero for that chapter happens to need a victory. And as I am playing this about 10 years after the game was first released, it is still kind of weird seeing characters like Kung Lao and Katana being reduced to jobbers when they were just so very important and vital to the plot in the previous game. And like I said, as weird as it is, it's not necessarily a bad thing because new characters do need to get some time to shine. Whether that's existing characters that never got that opportunity before or entirely new characters that need to be established, you have to switch it up a little bit or the routine just gets really stale and boring.
I gotta believe there's hope for you. Mother of God.
We've lost many. The rest are wounded.
And our friends.
The tide turned against them. They fled.
How you two doing?
I'm fine.
That's what I thought.
Where are you going?
Gonna bag me a sorcerer.
Alone?
You'll be killed.
Wouldn't be the first time.
In your weakened state, is it possible for you to release Shinnok?
I am more than capable.
And dvorah? Are you certain she is capable?
She will bring the amulet to me.
And I'll be waiting for her.
Jackson Briggs. A pleasant surprise.
Nothing pleasant about it.
So you return to Raiden? The foolish follow fools.
Raiden did his best. He saved Earthrealm.
He murdered me!
That isn't true.
You were not there! He stole everything from me! You do not deserve to rejoin us. Instead, you will learn there are worse things than death.
Continuing the conversation from the katana fight, Liu Kang is another character who was super important to the very last game's story mode, but now he is taking a backseat for this game. He was the guy who won 2 major tournaments to save Earth in the very last game, and in this game he is just here to let Jax have a well-deserved redemption arc. Speaking of which, even if the fights were just against revenants, Jax is getting fantastic wins in this game. Beating Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Katana, and Sindel. All of that means he is picking up some major wins against some of the very best fighters from the very last game. Not only is he doing that, he is doing that as Old Man Jax. This isn't even him in his prime. And considering that 20 years ago, back in the events of Mortal Kombat 9, Jax was only able to beat jobbers like Baraka and Shiva. In that 20-year span, he has managed to make a major, huge jump. So yeah, congratulations to Old Man Jax. Apparently he has become much more of a badass with age. So yeah, it turns out that dying, being resurrected, and reaching middle age is the way of becoming one of the best fighters in the entire game.
What were you champion of? I wish I could help you, Liu Kang.
Jax, there is no need.
Just stop it. It's good to be back. Kenshi, I got him.
Excellent work.
I'm staying here. Dvorah's on the way. You need to get Quan Chi to Sonya. She'll make him spill his guts.
We will stop here with Jax completing his objective. So, what happened in this episode? Well, Dvorah, the bug lady, teamed up with the combat kids to capture and eventually kill Mileena. Kotal Khan's Outworld team and the combat kids then have control over Shinnok's amulet again. After repossessing the amulet, Kotal Khan captures and imprisons the combat kids to take the amulet for himself. He does that feeling that the Earth can no longer be trusted with guarding the amulet anymore. After this betrayal, it is revealed that Dvorah is a double agent and really allied with Quan Chi, who wants Shinnok's amulet back. Next up, we played as Takeda, who used his Professor X powers to break his team out of the prison Kotal Khan put them in. They fight their way to freedom, and they are on their way back to Earth. Around the same time, Jax traveled to the Netherrealm to help out a military team along with Kenshi and Serena to track down and capture Quan Chi. Ultimately, the success of that mission came down to Jax. Sure enough, the old veteran steps up, beats the opposition, and eventually apprehends Quan Chi. And that's about all that happened. In the next episode, we will start the next chapter from the perspective of Scorpion, And Scorpion received word that Quan Chi was captured, so it is safe to assume that he has opinions on what Earthrealm should do with his old master. But we will get into those details later. For now, though, this is the conclusion of episode 3 of my playthrough of Mortal Kombat 10. Again, this has been Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's end this episode by enjoying a Brutality by Ferrator. Take care, and I will see you all next time.